What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, for another episode of Rebels with a Cause. Yes, it's Tuesday night. We're getting a little bit of a late start again. We had some technical difficulties, but we should have those ironed out, and we're ready to go. We hope that you're tuning in live. If you're tuning in recorded, remember, baby, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Them likes do something with the algorithms, and it gets it going. But it is Tuesday night. It's Rebels with a Cause. And remember, that cause don't stop when the clock hits zero, baby. Lots to talk about tonight. Not a lot of time to talk about it. Yes, I'm quoting Willy Wonka, but at the same time, it's here, guys. It's Jamboree week. Scrimmages are over. 7-on-7s has been done. Camp is done. It is time to really rock them out. The Jamboree, we'll talk about that. It's Thursday. They've split it up. It's not the old days that we've talked about and harped on for years at Neyland Stadium that we were a part of. It's a shame those kids won't get that experience, but it's nice that they still do the Jamboree and they raise the money with the KOC and all that. And basketball has one later on for both boys and girls that we'll get to eventually. But yeah, we got to definitely talk about about that. But first and foremost, I want to let it be known, as we always start off every show, that the views and opinions of this program are not affiliated with those of any other organization or of West High School. This is solely the opinions of the RWAC crew, which is myself, the Italian Stallion, two-pair Tate, Brian Tate, and the coach, our stats guy himself, Mr. Shane O'Mac. So anyway, just keep that in mind. And also want to give some shout outs here. First and foremost, got to give a shout out to our fellow West High grad, Mr. Class 2003 guy, Alex Thatcher, and Knoxville Coffee Company. They're located in the heart of Marble City, right off of Sutherland Avenue. You want a good brew, go pay him a visit. It's good any time of the day. Morning, afternoon, night, just go pay him a visit. He'll get you taken care of with some good brew. And also got to give a shout out to my gals, Kim Castle and Rachel Davis. They make sure that the Italian Stallion always looks suave for the show. Hit them up at the King's Chamber there off of Washington Pike. Let them know that Rebels with a Cause sent you. They'll make sure to give you a little discount off of the services they offer. They offer them haircuts, the beard trims. They'll do a shave with a straight razor, waxes, eyebrows, ears, nose. They get you taken care of. They give you the royal treatment to make you feel like the king that you are. So pay him a visit over there at the chamber there off of Washington Pike. Got to give some shout outs to our guy, Mr. Paul Romero, the athletic director at West. Thank you again for coming on last week, brother. You have done so much, and we have an announcement that we'll make, and I want to make it with my fellow co-hosts once I bring them on and give them the proper introduction and respect that they deserve. Got a lot to talk about, not just the scrimmage against Catholic again, and we'll thank those people for the hospitality that they sent us, the bishop over there. It was really awesome. It was really, really awesome. Honestly, if the schedules align and West is off and so forth, I wouldn't mind catching a game and partying with those people on an afternoon there for one of their home games, because they travel very far to play the teams that they play in their district and in their classification, rather, I should say. That being said, though, guys, it's time. We got a lot to get to. Want to talk a little Olympics, talk about what you guys want to talk about. Olympics are over. Team USA, thrilling basketball games in both the men's and women's to get those much needed gold medals to tie China at 40 apiece. And the medal count obviously overall went to the U.S. And also want to talk a little wrestling, some good stuff going on. Another pay-per-view in Germany, out overseas. I guess Triple H is really wanting to focus on making it World Wrestling, and they're even talking about trying to bring the F back in World Wrestling Federation. So hopefully we can get to that as well. But of course, this is about Rebels with a Cause, and it is spring football. We got a lot to talk about, preseason poll, but let's get to it. I want to hear you loud and proud, Marble City and all the surrounding boroughs of this area, whether it's the Westmoreland Hills or Estates, Sequoia Hill, Mechanicsville, West Hills, over there by Bearden Elementary School, right down there off of Sutherland Avenue, even going down into Western Avenue off Middlebrook Pike. I want to hear you get loud and proud and give the love and proper respect to my co-host. First and foremost, he is a Mr. 2003 West. He is the voice of the Runnin' Rebels basketball team and the girls basketball team for 18 plus years. And he is one of the hardest working guys I know, my favorite Florida State Seminole. And I'm sure he's excited about college football just around the corner, just like me. But let's bring him on. The one, the only, two-pair Tate, Brian Tate. What is up, brother?
What is going on, Stallion? How are you? You know what, Stallion?
What's that?
When we started doing this show, did you think we would be the podcast that goes on the location to other schools and then get sent home with two duffel bags of sandwiches from the opposing school?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, brother. I can honestly say no. I mean, I had the dream, we had the vision, and for it to come to fruition like it was, and the fact that people are talking about it. I mean, I've got a story. You know, we'll talk about the West High cleanup and so forth like that. That was so successful, and I want to give such a shout out to all of the parents of the players that showed up for that cleanup last Saturday. The stadium looks immaculate for that first game against Clinton here in a couple of weeks. You know, when we finally have a home game, we got some business on the road to take care of beforehand. But just a shout out to those parents. And do you know, I'm introducing myself, and one of the dads actually says to me, I know you. You're the Italian Stallion. And I was like, what? Like,
Wow.
called me the
Wow.
Italian Stallion.
He
And
didn't
I
call you
was
by
like,
your government name. He called
he
you by
did.
the Stallion.
He called me by the Stallion, and that was dang
Stallion.
respect right there, man. That's what
Oh,
that's
that's
all
dope.
about. So
That's
it's
really
go
dope,
time. So
man. That
yeah,
is
man.
super dope.
So, but
That
that's
is
how I
super
knew
dope.
that we've arrived. That people, and here's the other thing too. I want to give a shout out. She said she was going to catch the show. Somebody lives in my neighborhood that graduated with you guys, and I say hi to her at the pool all the time. And literally, she graduated with you, Catherine Chait, Cat Chait. Honestly, and she's friends with you. Saw the
Yeah.
show, and she was like, "When did you graduate from West?" And we got to talking on Sunday, and she's like, "I've got to catch your show," and she's a rebel with a cause. You know,
Yeah,
honestly, graduate.
shout out to Kat and her husband Derek, who is over at the gym. He's a personal trainer running that thing, man. Like,
Yeah.
super cool people, man.
Yeah, and
Really,
Mickey and
really
Blaze played football at West, and now they're coaches at Farragut. So yeah, I mean, so they're doing good for themselves. So, but shout out to the Chait family, and definitely, it's just it's starting to catch on. You know, people are always like kind of noticing us, and you know, they I think there's some respect there that yeah, we have a good time, but at the same time, we are wanting to make a difference, and we have a cause, and we want to make sure that these kids get their due. You know what I mean, so to think. So,
good.
yeah. Well, let me also bring in our third guy. He has now been nicknamed the coach because
The
that's what
coach.
he is. He was nicknamed by Mr. Parker Dubon. Shout out to you, brother. But he's now the coach. He's still our stats guy, and he's going to talk about the
He is our
preseason
stats
top
guy.
12 that was released by Five Star Preps. I've also got an announcement that I haven't really. I don't think you guys have caught on the social media today. If you have, I really want your opinions on it, but I want to bring him on. He's our brother. He is father of the year. The guy can cook. He's a beast in the weight room. He can coach and draw up plays and defend plays. And ladies, if you want his number, definitely hit us up privately. We'll make sure that we can get something set up so you can meet the coach in person. And I'm sure he'll show you a good time. Let's bring him on wherever you're at. Loud and proud, everybody. Give him a warm Rebels with a Cause welcome, Mr. Shane O'Mac, Shane McGee.
What's up, fellas?
Woo!
What's doing tonight?
The
Thank you for
coach.
the warm words as always.
The
Absolutely.
coach.
The
Hey,
coach. I
hey,
The
like it.
coach.
being the coach ain't easy, but it's worth it.
The coach.
I want a damn whistle around your neck from now on when you're on the show, whether we're live or anything. We gotta, and you need to blow that whistle, kind of like after every touchdown when I blow the loud cup. So I mean, honestly,
It's in the truck right now because I took it off afterwards. So, but it's in the truck.
Well, let me ask you this, guys. I mean, it's here, guys. We are on the doorstep of the season, and it's Jamboree time. And, we've shared our stories in the past that we got to play in Neyland Stadium on the field. And it's just weird that it's different now. It's at two different locations. I mean, it was fun to have all those teams at Neyland Stadium with all the parents, the fans, girlfriends, friends, students, teachers. I mean, it was a spectacle. It was
It
real, and we
was.
had a really good size there.
I
And
will have I will have front row seats to the Jamboree when West is over at Carnes this week because we are bringing our entire team over to watch.
so basically, what you're going to tell me is you're going to be covering it since I'll be out of town, and you can
Yeah.
text me and let me know how that went. And
Yeah.
then we'll talk about
Yes.
it. Perfect. So
Yes.
Shane O'Mac, the coach, is going to be live from there. Not doing a show, rather, but going to be covering it, and of course, we'll definitely talk about it. Absolutely. So yeah. But like it kind of saddens me because I think about our boy Michael Lynn, who won the fastest offensive lineman awards. Those competitions. Who could punt it the furthest? Who could throw it the furthest? Who was the fastest? And
Mhm.
and you don't get to see that. Like I mean,
Not
not with all the
anymore.
teams. Like, and that's what
Man,
made it fun.
that was my favorite thing to do.
It was.
Like I remember there was one, I can't remember what year it was, but it came down to like it was me, Tommy, Hootie, and Larry. And it was like, which one of you is going to represent us as the fastest athlete? And I remember like taking my shoes off to get better grip. Like it came down to like as lightweight as you could get and as fast as you could go. It was like we were coming. I think it might have been senior year, and it coming at us like it was like we just kept going and going and going until somebody like literally like broke free. But man, those were the days. Like you competed, like you wanted to be the best. Like you wanted Knox County to know you are the shit.
And you got a trophy. Michael even showed me the trophy. He still got it and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be something I'd tout. That, and think about all the guys that were fast at that time too. I mean, yeah. But so we've got the Jamboree Thursday. Some other teams are playing on Friday, but realistically, this is a preparation at this point to already be getting ready for Bearden. And we know that it's coming. Bearden week. Like what's going to be crazy is that the minute that the Jamboree's over and they take the break between whichever game is next after West and Grace, I want everybody just to sink in and think about it. It's Bearden week now. It is Bearden week. And, there's been changes with the schedule, but Rebels with a Cause can actually confirm that the game will be at 8 o'clock Saturday night from Bearden High School. And we have an announcement that I wanted to wait and tell everybody when we were all on here and so forth, because I got the confirmation email yesterday, but I wanted to share it live on the show. But that being said, the game will be at 8 o'clock. It will be televised by the Rivalry Thursday crew of Austin and Mark Packer. And also, it will be airing on Channel 6 WATE. So primetime under the lights. I can only hope that the weather's great for this atmosphere, and there's going to be a lot of people. So it's going to be standing room only. And definitely, I cannot wait to see these two powerhouses and this rivalry go at it like it's meant to be. That being said, we made a call to want to do a live show in that morning, like a high school game day thing. And with our wonderful friend and the athletic director, Paul Romero, he reached out to Coach Shinliver, who's the athletic director, former football coach at Bearden High School. And they have now given us permission to set up a live show on the field there at Bearden High School, 11 to 12, Saturday on the 24th. So check it out. We will talk all things about that game. We will break down both sides of it, when Bearden has the ball, when West has the ball, coaches, intangibles, everything. We might even have a former player or two come on if they would like to. It would be very nice.
Awesome.
Reach out to me, those that played in the rivalry, and I'll even take Chris Ernst. If you're out there, Chris Ernst, you can come on and talk about how you did beat us that day to represent the Bearden. But, I'm just saying that this is Rebels with a Cause, and I want to make sure that we have a nice, fun show. And realistically, once it's over, we go home, we relax, do whatever our thing is. And
Mm-hmm.
me personally, I'm actually going to be doing the stats because our stat man, who will remain anonymous, has an engagement to go to, and he will not be able to be there. So right now, Shane and I, you're looking at me being the stats guy, and Shane's going to be my spotter for the game. So
Oh, look at
basically,
that.
so
Look
and
at
of course we'll
that.
save you a seat, but he'll be
Look
my
at that.
spotter
How
pretty
did
much.
that
So
happen?
yeah.
You become that guy. Look at that.
Hey, listen, they had to
I,
go. They had to go to
I,
the bench. They had to go to the bench. So.
You had to go to the
I,
bench.
I just want to say thank you to both Paul and Morgan for allowing this to happen.
Yes.
They understand the rivalry. They understand how big this game is for Knox County.
Yeah.
This is the prime time game. Everyone in our city and surrounding areas will be at this game Saturday night, and that is going to be amazing. Thank you to both athletic directors for making this happen for us. I mean, I know kids on the Beard side. You all know the West side. It's going to be amazing, and I can't wait to be there.
I can't wait either, and it's going to be amazing. Just even if it's an empty stadium, just take a moment to breathe in that setting. The fact is that kids.
I may reach out to my daughter, who is a senior at Bearden,
Mm-hmm.
and we may need to reach out to some West players and students to maybe get some people in the background.
Absolutely, it'd be very awesome. It would be very, very cool.
I'm just saying, if you know, my daughters talked about our podcast to friends, they watch it, or at least they say they do. And what kid doesn't want to be streamed on YouTube and seen on Facebook and Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter? Like, hey, y'all want to come out and be rowdy? I mean, we need the Rowdy Rebels. We need the doghouse. Bring it.
Yeah.
We will be there. You all come show your love and support for your teams. Let's make this happen.
I would love to see the mascots even show up. If there's a guy or a gal that's dressed up as the Bulldog or the Rebel or whatever like that, bring your flags and show your spirit or whatever. It would be amazing. So yeah, it really would.
I really think this is the game that you look forward to. It's the first one on the schedule.
Yeah.
It is.
Not only is it the first one, this is the rivalry. Like this is
the rivalry. Man. This is
like
the rivalry.
Bearden and West in basketball, football. It doesn't. Baseball,
Girls soccer. I mean, yes.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Boys soccer.
Yes.
It has remained the rivalry we always look forward to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's marked on your calendar. It's August 24th. You've blocked out everything just to be in that moment. And what's really shown me how much the guys appreciate this show is when after the scrimmage, they're coming up to you and like, I get my interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and to be fair, you're way more recognizable than I am because obviously you've been the voice of the Rebels for so long and everything, and you have a relationship. Parker was kind enough to give me a few minutes, and he even said, like, it's go time for Bearden. I mean, yeah, they're going to do the Jamboree, but they're excited. They want to show out, And here's the thing, too. There is so much on the line in terms of the bragging rights. I mean, here's the thing. I have mentioned it being a thing of streaks. It's been a series of streaks, and the truth of the matter is since 2010, West has only lost. There was a couple years they didn't play, but since 2010, the infamous Devon Young game, West has only lost 2 times, and that was in Lamar's first couple of years at West.
But you know what? I want to say we beat Devon. Was it his senior year?
Yep, that's the one. Since that game, that infamous 2010 game, nobody gave West a shot, and West ended up winning 34-13, and that was the only game Devon Young didn't score a touchdown that entire year.
It's hard to believe because
he went on
a tear. he went on a tear that year, but the year before.
Yeah, the
And
year
then
before he really announced himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, that, and I would say his sophomore year as well. Like
Yeah.
his sophomore year, you know what I'm saying? He really showed out.
Yeah. Hey, if
But
Chris Ernst isn't available, get Devin Young to show up. I'd interview him to represent Bearden. So, yeah.
I'm bringing my daughter down right now, so we're going to see if I can see infections.
I hadn't talked to Devin since he graduated.
Yeah.
I am good friends with his mother, Danielle. Shout out to Danielle. But you know what? We need to, if we could get Devin, Nathan Cottrell.
Oh God, if Cottrell was in town, I mean, honestly.
If Cottrell was in town, Jake Ryan.
Yeah, Jake Ryan. Yeah.
Jake Ryan. But I put out, and I want you guys to do it too. I put out name your top 5 from the KIL era, the Prep Extra era, and the 5-star prep era.
Damn.
Because there's 3
You're covering like 25 years right there.
That's right. So I wanted to do it on the football side, the basketball side, baseball, softball. Like, if any people have these memories, we're gonna do a big panel show, and we're gonna have some of these guys on the show, like probably in the off season.
Yeah.
Because now we're in gear mode.
We are in game mode. Yeah, and football's going to dominate this stuff.
But
so yeah,
I think it's an interesting conversation, though. I
It
think
is
it's a very interesting conversation, because in the KIL era, expands from what was it, the 50s to 40s and 50s to 80s and 90s, and then
I would say
we saw a KIL in our day.
Yeah, so
probably 2003, because Prep Extra
came in around 2003. Prep Extra 2004.
Yeah,
05?
5 or 6.
Okay.
And then the 5-star prep era came after the Prep Extra era.
I would say that the 5-star preps came in about 18 or 19. It had to have come.
Yeah. So
17,
we're getting close. We're getting close to having those discussions.
Yeah.
I just thought it was something that was big. And then I saw the response from the Jazz Kimbers, the Marlon Bustles, the Chris Wileys of the world. Like, Sean Green even commented and said there's too many to name.
There really is. I mean, the 3 of us could spend a whole day just naming names. Like, I mean, and then the big 5.
If we go back to the
KIL, do we remember the legend Terry Copeland?
Yeah, I mean, you got so many names.
Do we remember the legend Marcus Hamilton of Karn?
I know, yeah.
Like, we can rattle off.
We go back to the KIL era. You could talk about our former classmate Raphael Kofer's family, his uncles who played for UT.
Big Joe Kofer.
Yeah, those dudes were dominant.
Mike Kofer played for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah. Then you start talking about the Rule High School era. Holy crap.
That's what I'm saying.
You weren't touching Rule. You were not touching Rule.
Well, and then the other thing, too,
I just wanted to put that out there, because when we started doing this show, and I started seeing, like, other guys, like, shout out to Corey Anderson, shout out to a lot of these guys, like former players of these schools, and I feel like we recognize them because, Fulton and Austin East just had their alumni game not too long ago, and I really want to get an alumni game.
And we should have mentioned that. Paul Romero gave us so much time, and thank you to him again. Yeah. I mean, we didn't even get to that, and we will. We'll get that organized for sure. So
real quick. I've got my daughter down here.
Okay.
We're going to ask her a question. She doesn't want to get on camera, but she's right here. Audrey, say hi.
Hello.
All right, so I hear her. I can hear her.
daughter.
So, yes. Yeah, hello, daughter. So, yeah.
Audrey, between this week and next week, we need you to start talking to students about being a game day audience next Saturday.
That'd be dope to have a game
Hey,
day.
we're going to target some West kids out there also. We're doing a game day from Live at Bearden. We would like as many students as we can get out there. And if you know anyone who would like to be out there, players, the mascot, cheerleaders, anything, we would appreciate it. Mm-hmm. So we will go live. We're going to 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. So,
So
yeah.
11,
1 hour. 11 to 12.
At Bearden High School.
How dope is that? 11 and 12.
We want as many people as we can get out there. Spread the word, because I know kids at West, kids, and also all Bearden kids. We want as many kids out there as possible, because this is the go-to game, as you know, on Saturday. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She said, yeah.
All right.
So I'm leaving the cards over here. All right. Thank you, Audrey. Say good night to everybody.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Well, now we got some pressure. So wow. So it really will feel like a high school game day atmosphere, honestly.
And I want to feel like college game day. This is college game day.
Well, two pair. We gotta. I know people kind of watched it, and I don't even know what they thought. They probably either laughed, rolled their eyes, or it doesn't matter what your reaction was. But the fact that we got fed. I mean, the bishop there from Catholic comes over with plates of food and says, "You boys look famished. Here you go."
The hospitality,
Catholic High School took care of us. Knox County, once again, take notice. If the Rebels with a Cause crew is at your site, bring us food, bring us Jello shots. We'll take it all.
Absolutely, yeah. That was funny as anything. The Jello shot.
You know what? No,
it was.
I've been thinking about this. We might end up having over 10 locations where we shoot Rebels with a Cause.
Yeah,
we are already at.
Hey,
we're at 3.
Can I just say this?
3 of them.
We'll have 4. We'll have 4. Yeah.
So that's Gibbs, Jeff County,
Catholic,
and
Bearden.
I'm serious when I say Rebels with a Cause has been on location, and then look at the interviews in the game day. We got footage of the scrimmage, and when we looked back at that scrimmage and when we saw stuff breaking down in the secondary, you can go to those videotapes and you can look at it. You can look at the catches by Dave Drotta. You can look at the pass break.
And I've still got to upload those. I got the interviews up. I still got to put those up there in the shorts. And now I know how to really do it fast and easy because they're such short things. It doesn't take as long to like our shows, that are like 2+ hours or what have you.
Yeah, the videos take forever, but the shorts,
they do.
The shorts, that's why I was saying on those plays, and that's why when we do those scrimmages, you're gonna get the audio from what we do as Rebels with a Cause. But when you look at some of those plays and we're catching the touchdowns, like Silas Monroe is a name now. After what he did last week, he's a name to watch out for.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was a hell of a pass too. I mean, talking about the scrimmage with the West football scrimmage at Catholic, that game, we learned a lot about ourselves, here's the thing. I think that it was it gives the running game obviously showed out for the second straight week. I mean, and even Catholic's coach admitted to us after the game, we couldn't stop them, they were controlling the clock.
How humble was he?
Was Coach Shadowins? Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I love Shadowins, and I love what he said at the end of his scrimmage.
Yeah,
when he told the players, "There's things we got to clean up if we want to be better." That team over there is a state championship team. We're creating that identity there, and I want to say, was it Jalen Neal who's still hurt? So
Yes.
he
Yeah.
didn't get to
He's
play.
working
But
his way back. He was coaching, so yeah.
we talked to his father
Yep.
after the scrimmage as well. Dwayne, good guy, man, like great
Yeah.
family. Just talking to them, and you see that the culture and the identity that Shadowlands is putting together, you can see it, you can feel it just by the way they tailgated a scrimmage.
Oh my gosh. And apparently they told us that's nothing because when it's an actual game, you can't even find a parking spot in that main drag right there because they've got Tent City set up. Tent City,
I
Gazebo
think I
City.
have to go. I think I have to go check out a Catholic game, and I'm just going to use the fact that my mom and my aunt, and my uncle, and my grandmother were all Catholic. But hey, my family was Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Catholic, I mean,
Shout out to the bishop though. The
the
bishop, man,
bishop,
he
man.
like the bishop, like I've never had that much hospitality.
Hmm.
Catholic does it right. And shout out to Pat Walden for what he does with the basketball program over there. Shout out to Juwan Smith, who's head coaching over there. Shout out to my man Greg Codwell, who's the assistant coach over there at Catholic for the basketball team. They've got a lot of things going over there at Catholic, man, and they
I'm
got the
impressed.
right guy as their coaches.
They do.
I'm impressed with how Catholic pulls in former UT guys to be coaches.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the fact is, we kind of made the little bit of a joke of it, but the Butch Jones
The
Stadium
Butch
or
and
what have
Ball
you.
Jones family.
Jesus, oh
Yeah, they
my
look like
lord.
they
So,
look. I'm sorry, like Catholic, y'all can take that down.
dude,
Y'all don't
somebody.
Get
eh,
somebody
like
else, please.
y'all don't have to keep that.
Hey,
Y'all
listen,
don't have to keep
where
that.
is T Martin? Where is somebody? I'd rather see the T Martin field or
No,
something
if you
like
go
that.
to
So you know.
what's the school? Knoxville Christian School
Uh huh.
over there off Snyder near
Snyder, I've been there before. Yep, yep.
the Wade and Allen Houston gym.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Their gym
Okay.
is named after Wade and Allen Houston.
Well,
And Allen Houston was literally one of my favorite basketball players ever.
oh yeah. Well, his record with the Knicks and playing for the
Yeah.
Knicks or what have you. I
Knicks
mean,
and the
and the
Pistons, the way he
Pistons. Yeah,
was with the Pistons, like, and
yeah,
I mean, the dude is a gold medalist.
yeah.
The dude
Yep.
was All American. He was SEC Player of the Year. Like, Allen Houston's one of the best to ever do it, and
If you guys
like
if you go to my top 3 favorite basketball players of all time, it's Jordan, Penny, and Houston.
Mm,
Those are my
not a
top
bad list.
favorite
not a
Not a
players.
bad
bad list.
list.
Not a bad list. Not a
Not a
bad
bad
list.
list. So
But speaking about this Catholic scrimmage, one thing I did notice is we had trouble throwing in zone coverage.
hmm
And I think after watching the film, Parker is a student of the game.
yeah.
And the thing I like about Parker is he's not rattled. He
Mm-mm.
never got rattled
No.
during if it was an incomplete pass, you didn't see him chew anybody out. You didn't everything is repetitious of consistency, and that's what Dubon brings.
hmm
And and I think Harrison and Dowd make that quarterback room a lot tougher, a lot
hmm
stronger because they're pushing Dubon. Dubon made a key play. You remember when they ran the wrong way
hmm
on the RPO? I
Yep.
think it was on
Yep.
RPO, and it looked like a loss for 3 yards. The man got 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that's the type of guy he it's his time. It's
hmm
his time, and just the reception that the guys in that wide receiver room is giving to those quarterbacks, they're making plays. Like
Yeah.
Drada, Mills, I think they're all due for a big year.
Yeah, and the other thing too is there's still the question mark if Detroit is going to be able to play Detroit Patterson and so forth. If he if he's going to be able to
That's
play,
another weapon.
that's another weapon, and he could be that could be also a safety in the defensive backfield to make that room deeper as well. The other thing too on that drive, the way that Parker managed it, the offense was like such a well-oiled machine. they didn't even really have to pass the ball because they got positive yards running it, and they were using 4 different backs. It was Messiah Wren, it was Tavion Ray, it was McAllister, and then you even had now Keelan Rucker in the mix. So you have 4 guys, 3 seniors and a junior right now that are definitely doing their thing behind that offensive line, and the wide receivers making blocks downfield
We
too.
we can't forget about Goins. We can't forget about Rodriguez.
Yes. Yeah.
There and you know there's more guys.
Hmm.
And all the
Sergio.
guys
Sergio even had a few good runs too when he
he
was in
did.
there. So
He
yeah.
did. And what I like is all the guys are seeing what's on social media. They're they know that they are the talked about school. When you got players getting interviews after scrimmages before the season starts, the target is on their back.
Yeah.
Like you see the target. But one thing I like about it is Lamar's approach is still we're the hunters, not the hunted. It's like
Absolutely.
we're the hunters. If you're thinking you're gonna hunt us, it's a whole different ball game. We're
Yeah.
hunting you.
If I can also ask for your both opinions, Coach, you as well. Lamar was interviewed, and the if you haven't watched it, the West High Facebook page, our football page, as well as the council and social media, has shared the story that was done by Channel 6 previewing the area teams, and it just so happened to be West's turn Saturday night. And I loved what Lamar said is that he doesn't want this program's success to only be defined by state championships. Like he wants success to be about the type of kids we have, what we do on and off the field and what they do in the classroom. And he just doesn't want it defined that we're just more than just these state championships. And that right there is the One West. That right there is the culture and the program. To go off of what you were saying about still wanting to be the hunters, not just the hunted. Shane, how big is that? That this team, this program, it's more than just the state championships. What really does define the success?
Well, the funnest of success is not only what you do on the football field, it's the classroom, it's how you interact in the community. It's every little detail that this program, not just team,
Mhm.
program has put out there. Like you have everything from the players bought in, the community brought in, the parents bought in. It's everything. Like this, you don't find Knox County is when you look at Knox County, we have 14 public schools, throw in the private schools, you're looking close
Mhm.
to 20.
Mhm.
Name a section of town right now that is so bought into the community. The team is bought in, and everything. Like everything that West does is the epitome of what you want your program to be. And these kids are going out there every day knowing it's like, yes, we are the defending state champs. But you also realize that you're getting everyone's A game. You're getting the fans, the community support, everything. You're getting everything from everyone the second West is on your schedule. It's not just we're playing that. Like you want to give them everything you have. And West answers the call every time. And what these players need to continue to remember is they're representing the community, the alumni, everyone that supports this program. And it's amazing across the board. Like you don't find that in Knox County. You find more of the city limits of Knoxville. Because you look at your Gibbs, your Halls, your Carter, your Farragut's, those are the big, your Fulton, your AE. You get that support there. To get that inside of like West Knoxville is very hard to find.
Hmm.
And you don't see that.
And you're not a Maryville or Alcoa where you're like
Yeah,
your own city. You know what I
yeah.
mean? You're not.
You have kids that come from everywhere. You
Hmm.
have families that come from where we are the most diverse school in the area. And it's always been that way because you pull from Lonsdale, you pull from Mechanicsville, you pull from Western Heights, you pull from West Hills. Westmoreland, a little bit even further down North Shore. You pull from Sequoia. You pull from everywhere.
Yeah.
And these kids mesh together perfectly. Like, I don't see it anywhere else.
I
And
don't
I'm
see
not
clicks.
either.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see clicks. Like, I mean, they all like are wanting to make each other better. Iron sharpens iron. You
I
know
mean,
that these guys are
look at the
smart.
three of us. We all came from 3 different cliques, and we all knew each other. We're all friends, but we all came from different crews, and we all intermingled together. Like,
Yep.
look, we're all diverse in our own way.
We are.
And look at us, like we cover every aspect of what is West High School.
We do. We do. And we enjoy it. Like we enjoy it. We're complimented on it. And you know, Shane and Tupper, I want your opinion on this part of it, is the fact that you mentioned it over and over again. Our fans travel. We had
Travel.
basketball players. We saw Reese and
Malik
Malik
Wilson.
Wilson there
Yeah.
supporting. So the basketball teams there supporting. We saw many students there. I mean, we
And
had
they got
our
a lot
side
to
filled
prove.
up.
Malik Wilson and Reese Clark, they got a lot to prove this season. They
They
realized
do.
that this is the last dance at it. And we can be the class that can win district, be the class that can win regional, be the class that can go and win it state, because they're good enough to do it. It's all about it. It is now or never.
It is now or never.
It's now or never. And one thing, I got to talk to Kevin Jack's father this year. Sunday. I got to talk to him Sunday, and Kevin is going to have a monster year.
Oh, I think so.
I mean, he is that pull up in transition 3. When I say he has been knocking that down, like his 3 ball is looking nice, and for him to play at that next level, him stretching the floor, being able to be on the court with Hill, Clark, Martin, Birch. You can even, if you throw Birch and Schuler within that realm, it's going to be an exciting season. But those guys are at the scrimmage. The Malik Wilsons, the Reese Clarks, they're at the scrimmage.
And we're not even
supporting
talking
that
a game. We're talking a scrimmage. A scrimmage. You know? I mean,
when you
and
get
it was
support
like a
from
game.
The basketball guys are coming to support the football guys at a scrimmage at Catholic.
Yeah, just like how the football guys supported the basketball team and had that whole side filled up in that section of the Rebel Rowdies. So yeah, I mean, it's really amazing to be a part of it. It's so exciting because it's here. I mean, for goodness sakes, this was the first full week of school. Last week they had a half a day and then one full day. There was some orientation thrown in there, but this is the first full week of school. And next week, I can't even imagine, you know, like for example, I'm going to be excited Thursday night next week to watch Rivalry Thursday and scout 2 opponents in Anderson County and Powell. You know, Coach, can you talk about the 5-star preps, what they revealed to be their top 12 of area teams ranked per their
I've compiled 5-star preps top 12. I've compiled my top 12 off their list. All right, so we're going from top to bottom, or from bottom to top. They got Jeff County at 12, Anderson County at 11, Sevier County at 10, Bearden at 9, Greenville at 8, Oak Ridge at 7, Powell at 6, Webb at 5, West at 4, Catholic at 3, Alcoa at 2, Maryville at 1.
If you're counting everybody, 5 teams that he just named are on West's schedule this year. Thank you very much.
Talk about it.
Here's my top, based off their list, my top 12. Jeff County, because they lost a lot of returners last year to this year. What we saw in the scrimmage, I don't think Jeff County repeats the magic they had last year. So Jeff County at 12. I got Sevier County at 11, Oak Ridge at 10, Anderson County at 9, Webb at 8, Greenville at 7, Powell at 6, Catholic 5, Bearden 4, West 3, Maryville 2, 1, Alcoa.
I agree with that.
And
I
I could swap Maryville and West. Maryville, you give them respect because of who they are. And I think last year was a down year for Maryville. I think they're going to come into playing this season with a massive chip on their shoulder. They lost the most games I've ever seen them lose. I mean, when's the last time you saw them lose 3? When's the last time you saw them lose 2?
And the fact that they lost 3 home games to the Kingston Pike teams, West, Bearden, and Farragut, that's unheard of. And it took how many years? I mean, yes.
That's never happened. Never happens.
If I remember correctly, because I was at the Bearden Maryville game, me and my son jumped the fence when they won. It was like 1995, the last time Bearden beat Maryville.
It's been a minute.
Maryville is Maryville, and they reload every year. They've had some key players. They got a former Bearden player moved over there, playing there and stuff. But, I mean, when you talk about supremacy of East Tennessee, I think the top 3, and you can move them around right now. Well, really top 2 and 3. West and Maryville are interchangeable. Alcoa is Alcoa. Alcoa has won. I've lost count of how many state championships they've won in a row. I think it's like 9 now or something like that.
Yes, 9 in a row.
And they take it to everyone. But the games when it came down to those 3 teams right there, they all played each other. They were close games.
Yeah.
And those 3 teams right there are they dominate what is East Tennessee football right now.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. West right now has a 2-game winning streak over Maryville. Whether you like it or not, West has a 2-game winning streak over Maryville.
And also props to West and Bearden for scheduling teams that have won state championships. Yeah. That's how you get better. It doesn't matter what classification you're in. Sometimes football is football. It doesn't matter.
Football is football.
4A, 5A, 6A, 3A, it doesn't matter. It's you are going against who has that golden football sitting in their trophy case in their school. And those 2 schools right now are saying, hey, we know who you are. We know who we are. We're ready to bring it. And you talk about your Maryvilles and your Alcoas. They do it every year. You talk about those teams aren't scared to play anyone.
No.
I want to say last year's schedule, just for Bearden, because I know Bearden's schedule, they had West, game 1, state champion. Alcoa, game 2, state champion. Anderson County, game 3, state champion. Maryville, a couple weeks later, they've won state championships. They go against who they have is got that golden ball. I mean, iron sharpens iron.
It does.
What proved to be victorious in a lot of these games. So,
Tucker, can I throw this out there honestly,
sure.
and you can give your opinion on it? Those games, like this year, last year, the year before, that's why West beat Page in the championship game. They were prepared for any scenario. And when you play the best of the best, you might run into them
a little bit
of
everything,
but you see everything. That's why it's not disrespectful to those teams up in the Northeast. But I really feel this team's basement is the 3rd round of the playoffs, when you probably will have a rematch with Powell. The question's going to be, is it going to be at Powell as the host, or is it going to be at West as the host? And then I'm going to go a step further, by the way. The other step of it is the fact is Oak Ridge going to be there waiting for West in the semifinals? And then you talked about where we're going to go live for locations and stuff like that. I hope the 3 of us are sitting right there outside of that stadium in Chattanooga, waiting for a 3rd ball and looking to see if we make history. I mean, thoughts?
I think it can happen. Like and what they have to do, they have to set the tone early. Play time-controlled football. I think that's what West is going to have to do best for them to be to be in the best situation they can be in. So what they have to do is continue with the running game, but also balance things in the passing game. So if West is to, you said this, the ceiling is probably the third round.
Well, I'd honestly say the basement is the third round. I mean,
The
Yeah.
no
basement is the third
disrespect.
round.
I mean, no disrespect. It's just that I'd have to look at the scores. Shane, you could pull them up, but when we've played the teams from that first region on the other side, who you're ultimately matched up with us being region 2, West like shut out both teams last year, and then the year
Mm-hmm.
before that it was like 63-6. I mean, it wasn't even close. And I'm not trying to be a jerk, I'm just
That
saying that
22 team blew teams
oh,
out.
I mean, it was over by halftime, man. I mean, people, I mean, they were ferocious. And then the thing is Daniel Boone brings their best team in years, undefeated, comes down here, and West was done with them. It was 34 to nothing at halftime,
At
by the way.
halftime.
At
Yeah.
halftime. So, I mean, and of course, everybody talks about the West Powell game, and then of course West beat Page pretty handily in that championship game. But as far as I was concerned, that West Powell game was your state championship game in 22. But
Mm-hmm.
Shane, like if you think about that, I mean, give those scores. I think that West is good enough to beat those teams and then get to the third round against Powell.
All right, so here we go. Scores from last year. Bearden 14-10, game 1, final second to final drive of the game, fourth quarter. Clinton 44-12, Farragut 38-31, 7-point lead. Maryville won by 7, 21-14. Knox Central 53-0. Heritage 48-14. Took the loss to Alcoa 24-7. That's what they're showing on here.
Yep.
Halls 20-9. Howell win overtime 1-1. Daniel Boone 34-0. Mo West 30-0. Howell 31-5. Walker Valley 38-3. Page 24-19. So you're looking across the board. They've dominated teams that you expect them to dominate. The teams that you expect to give them a battle gave them a battle. Koa, I think, was a fluke last year. I think he was had an off game.
We had a lot of injuries. I mean, Marshawn Bowers and Devin Jamison were
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
We had a lot of guys out.
Yeah.
Looks like, did we have 2 bye weeks last year?
No, it looks like they're missing the Anderson County game that was, I believe, won by us 9-7 or what have you. I think we won 9-7.
It's showing 9-29 and 10-20, so like that's a massive gap in games.
Yeah.
But I mean, nothing was close except for your perennial powerhouses that you expected from. I mean, Farragut's always good. Farragut had an off year last year.
Yeah.
But Bearden came to play, and that was a tough game. Farragut was in it the whole time. I probably click on the box score and look at that real quick. I don't care about signing up. I'm not signing up for Max Pros. All right. So, but I mean, you've got like the teams that are the perennial powerhouses of the area. It was tough games.
It was tough games.
The Halls game shot because Halls started hot.
Yeah.
They were amazing going into at least week 6 of last year.
Can I throw something out there about Halls, by the way? I think that there was a little disrespect there that maybe they should be the number 12 team instead of Jeff County. I mean, honestly, because
I think the only reason
they bring a lot back.
I think the only reason you're looking at it that way is because you looked at a Jeff County team that went 10-2 with a very deep run in the playoffs, lost to Bearden on a weird, controversial clock. Thanks to Jeff County running that clock because I was there at that game and it was a cold night. But that's between these are my thoughts and my thoughts only.
That's right.
There and the AD may have made some calls that changed the clock and how it was running because that game should not have came down the way it did. But it's another story. But I mean, you talk about the teams I already spoke about. Your Farragut, your Maryville, your Alcoas, your Beardens, your pals. Those games are tight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can I
Those
also
are
say
teams-
something?
Those are teams that have deep runs in the playoffs. Those are teams that we have to go up against year in and year out. And you know what you're getting from those teams. I mean, none of those teams are rollover teams. Like, you've got to come a game.
All the
And-
time. You got to
And,
bring it.
and this
You
goes
got to
back,
bring it.
to what you said, BT. We are the hunters still. I don't care if we're back-to-back state champs. I don't care how we're at 600, like 19 days or whatever it is, state champions. Those teams are looking to knock you off.
Yes. Yes,
Because
they are.
that's how you weigh your program. And I was a former Bearden guy. I'm West till I die. But when you schedule teams that are state champs and you play them home and away, you get what you get. You know what they're looking at. We all know what these teams are capable of. We all know how deep they are. We all know what they're capable of. Every one of those teams, with the exception of Bearden, has won a state championship within the last decade. I believe within the last decade, because I want to say my cousin was on the Farragut team that won a state championship in 6A. But you've got state champions across the board within relatively close time frames.
You do. And you mentioned the Maryville game, and Two-Pair, I want your thoughts on this because there was some breaking news today. I guess they were just waiting to announce it, and I'm trying to find the article. Maybe you can find it, Shane. Look on WVLT's website if you don't mind. But WVLT is now ready to give I guess a run for the money of Rivalry Thursday, because remember, Rivalry Thursday was based out of Channel 8, and now they're with Channel 6. And now Channel 8 has a new game of the week that Russell Biven is now joining Varsity All Access. And I don't know what that does with Jack FM now, because it was really Russell that had Jack FM do those radio games. And I hate that if we lose the radio with him now having to do this full time and so forth, maybe somebody else will take it over, because I know a lot of people enjoyed listening to the West games on Jack FM radio.
I might have to take the job.
You might have to, but honestly, I can't think of anybody more deserving to do it and that would give so much passion to it. But truth be told, they've already announced that himself and our old coach Tony Rogers are going to be Tony Rogers will be the play-by-play will be the color with Russell, who will be the play-by-play. And they've already announced 6 games that they will be doing. One of them is the Maryville West game at West. So I want you to know that we will be seeing our old coach there and Russell Biven in the press box as they do the game West versus Maryville.
One guy I've played for, one guy I've coached against.
Yes. So I mean,
I coached against Russell in basketball and softball. One of his kids, I want to say it's his daughter, is roughly around the same age as my daughter, so we always went up against each other. Great man. I think I got a picture with him and my son years ago, back when my boy was probably like 2.
You know what would be cool though? It would be cool if you have the Rivalry Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
You have Big Game Fridays. I feel like they could do rivalry Thursdays, Big Game Friday, and then Game of the Week by WVLT. I think the more and then if they even want to take it up, you could have like some Saturday games sprinkled in there. But you don't want to interfere with UT football.
No.
Never.
I will say the only Saturday game you see is the Bearden West game.
Yeah.
Because it's the week before. It's normally the week before UT kicks off. And it's been the Saturday game for the last at least like 3-4 years now.
Yeah. Yep. Yep, it
Yeah.
has. And I wanted to also say this. Shout out to the viewers right now. We've got 5 viewers. Don't be scared. Shout out on the comment box. If you want to. I've got the article pulled up here, by the way. So basically, he's going to be joining the WVLT sports team covering high school football. Bivin will host Football Night Live, which includes a pregame show at 6:30 and the Smart Bank game of the week at 7 o'clock. He'll also be working closely with WVLT's Rick Russo and John Sartori. And basically, these are the games that they have announced so far. August 23rd, Alcoa hosting Ravenwood. August 30th, Jeff County at Sevier County. September
Mm.
6th, Bearden at Anderson County. September 13th, Maryville at West. And then September 20th, Gatlinburg Pittman at Fulton. Bivin will be joined in the booth by Chad Hatmaker and Coach Tony Rogers. So, yes. And so I guess with him joining that, I don't know if Jack FM is still going to be affiliated with West, if somebody else is going to take it over. I know Mark Nagy did a couple of games last year with Russell, but two pair, honestly, if it'd be awesome if we could continue having that radio. Honestly, it would be really
I
amazing.
mean, if they want me to do it, I'll do it, man.
Yeah, for sure. So,
They
but
give me a reason to get out of work. So
yeah, absolutely.
give
So,
me a reason.
but
Give
like
me a reason.
but I was shocked to watch that, and it's like, I mean, think about this, two pair. It's not just Rivalry Thursday. You've got like this Friday Frenzy thing, and he's doing like a pregame show just like Rivalry Thursday does from 6:30 to 7, and then they're going to have their own game of the week. So, like there's football on TV, and then we've mentioned it before, the Diamond Clear Media of the different schools that they pay for
Mm-hmm.
to broadcast those games. So I mean, I've never seen so much coverage of high school football, and it makes me giddy because we only had community television and Jerome Taylor back in
Shout
the
out to
day.
Jerome
So
Taylor,
Jerome.
man.
So yeah, I
Y'all
mean,
know
come
how I
on
feel
now.
about Jerome Taylor.
Oh
Inside
yeah,
perspective. You know what I love
hardest
though?
working guy. Yeah.
Man, when he had that classic AAU team with Chris Wiley and Marlon Bussum on it, man, that was some of the best. That was some of the best high school action ever covered. Was the inside perspective, man. Like I wish there were tape.
I know.
I wonder if he ever put anything on YouTube because like he had great footage, man. Like
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to look it up.
timeless footage.
Yeah, you'd have to look it up. I mean, you really would have to, just to see what it was. But I remember watching it, and I remember still Alan Wallace and Tommy Winton getting interviewed and so forth before our season that year. So, and they were super
Mm.
softs. So, I did want to mention this real quick because of we're getting done with the time or getting close to time because we weren't going to have a very long show tonight. But I did want to mention this and just get your thoughts on it. We can talk about any sport. The Olympics are now over. Paris, I thought, did a fabulous job hosting it. The sights, the sounds, the competitions across all the sports and all the different
Mm.
games and events. Um, you know, Two pair, what was your thoughts on how the basketball games ended those last two nights in Paris? So
Well, let me say this. Steph Curry showed up at the right time. But when you also look at the way that the three legends played, Durant, LeBron, and Curry, we may never ever see that again.
no.
Like, but if they were to do that, I will say this: Serbia, they caught on to what USA were doing. Like they
Mhm,
caught on, and France, I just felt like France couldn't make enough runs. They
mhm,
they couldn't they couldn't make enough runs, and they couldn't stop what was inevitable in Steph Curry's just 3-point shot. Like the last one he hit was ridiculous
mhm,
because there were two open players. Like we haven't seen that Steph Curry do that since the 22 finals.
mhm.
You
In,
know,
in
and
traditional basketball, you pass that off
Yeah.
unless you're Steph Curry.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the women had a scare. Like, I don't think people realize how good France and Gabby Williams is. Like, Gabby Williams is a former WNBA player. She played 5 years,
Hmm. And they had an
respectively in the
entire
league.
nation in that damn arena willing them to victory. There's enough to be seen. They had a whole country behind them, for that last event. So,
And they just couldn't. They couldn't close the door. And credit to like vets like Diana Taurasi, who didn't play in that game but understands the sacrifice of team basketball and getting the goal.
mhm.
Asia Wilson and
Oof.
Brianna Stewart were hell.
Mhm.
Like, you can't compete with us with or the front. Like, they said it best with the commercial over there with saying, how does it feel to know that you're gonna come in second against us like every year? Like,
Yeah.
that's just like, they talk with such swagger. They've not lost an Olympic game since '92.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and can I say this? Shout out to Potter as well. They made their free throws, and I am such a stickler for free throws, guys. When I coached middle school basketball, I literally told my players every free throw you make is 1 point closer to victory. And if they had even missed one of those free throws, or two of them, my goodness, you are losing. Forget overtime,
Mhm.
whether her foot was on the line or not, and it was on the line. But I'm just saying that though it was a game of inches, and that's why free throws are so important. And I was just shocked that it even got to that. But they won. They needed that gold medal because U.S. and China tied with 40 gold medals apiece. Some highlights that I wanted to bring up. And Shane, I want your opinion on this one because this one event pissed me off like nobody is. I mean, and actually there was Carl Lewis, and the great Carl Lewis had every right to. But I looked at this. China was absolutely amazing in diving. They did something that no one's ever done before. They swept all 8 diving events in men's and women's competition. So they won gold, 8 golds right there. Michael
Yeah.
Phelps said he was very disappointed in the men's U.S. swims team. Said the women
Mm.
brought it, and when the great Michael Phelps says that, you got to do something better, especially with
You're
the
on
LA
notice.
Games
You
4 years.
are on notice.
You are on notice when and especially with how Australia talked so much trash about our anthem, about the cowbell tradition, and that didn't get you to, like I said in last week's show, 1/100th of a second, that should be put all over the wall, just like
Yep.
the 28-27 was for West when we lost by 1 point. 1/100th of a second was the difference between getting on the podium, getting a gold, or just sitting there and waiting for Los Angeles in 4 years. I mean,
I
come on.
mean, you talk about 1/100th of a second. Are you? How bad do you want it?
Yes, yes, and the men,
That
and
is
the men were a
that
disappointment. I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
the
you,
U.S.
you
men
all,
swim team.
you're taking your breath. You're looking like you see the mug right there. Like, he's right. I'm trying to watch my language. I mean, we're not past 11, so I can't. It's not Rebels After Dark.
Yeah, it's not
But
Rebels After Dark. Yeah,
I mean, like, I know from being a track athlete and basketball and a football player, like, I'm not letting you beat me. Like, you were right there. I'm giving you every last ounce I have. If I'm puking in the pool, puking on the track, I don't give a damn. Like, that's right.
Hey,
You got 4 years. Let that sit there and burn in your gut, in your core, and be like, am I that good? Like, I gotta prove this. Like, this
can
is
can can we talk
we,
about
we
that
can't coach
women?
1/100th of a second. That is heart and soul and gut and determination. Like, I'm giving you everything I have and then a little bit more. If I gotta give my life right here, I'm giving my life. Yeah,
Can we
F
absolutely.
this.
What were you going to say about the women? What event?
can we talk about that women's 4x4 team?
I want to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. The one thing I want to talk about before that, because that's going to take the taste out of my mouth about what I'm wanting to talk about. And you being a track guy, Shane, I know it
Yeah.
pissed you off. What in the world is going on that we can't hand a damn baton to somebody? The fastest men in the world couldn't get on track and then messing up who was in because the one guy had COVID, I mean, what are we talking about here? They have found a new way to lose every 4 years, and it's disgraceful.
I
It is a
I
disgrace.
ran track from 7th grade through my senior year. Had an opportunity to run in college. Had some injuries that made to where I couldn't compete at the next level. But that is the one thing we worked on every single day. We know our speed. We know what it is. It always came down to the exchange.
Mhm.
That is the pump, 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 stick. Pump, 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 stick. I ran that more times than I ever carried in my life. My track practices were literally from the time in 7th grade all the way through senior year was being in the exchange zone right there. My guy comes up, I either ran first leg or second leg. That's always what I ran every single time. And it was literally it's stick. Either I'm handing or I'm passing. It was literally it's all we did.
Yeah.
Like how do you screw up an exchange in the biggest stage in the world? Like that bothers me the most. Every time I've ever seen it. We had that happen one year in high school. I watched an exchange. I don't want to say his name. He played basketball all 4 years. I will not say his name. He screwed up the exchange one year and jogged. I'm not shitting you, jogged afterwards. I lost it.
I would have too.
Because that is the one thing you work on the most, because you have to have that timing down.
Yeah.
And I know for how I always prep, I'm looking back, I see the exchange, I hit my go, I know my quarter speed, where I need to be at in the exchange zone so I don't pass the exchange zone, and I know when to stick my hand. Every single time. That is the one that bothers me.
It was disgraceful. And two-pair.
You cannot. You can't. That's
Well,
the one, like you know each other's speed. You know who's going to be where.
Yeah.
You know when to exchange.
well, and that's the thing. Two-pair. The truth of it is, with Noah Lyles having COVID, and props to him for even trying to do it. I mean, he looked I mean, he had to get medical attention on the track there. I mean, he tried to do it. And so he's not available to run, obviously.
Mhm.
And then whose decision was it to change the order of who it was? Like, just leave them in the spot that they're used to.
You don't change the order. You put your sub in. You practice that shit daily
Yep.
till you lead up to that. That is the only thing you work on.
Yeah.
I'm the track guy. I'm not trying to overstep,
No,
but
that's
I know
what
how
I'm
to work, and I've been there. I've seen where a guy gets hurt, or I've been hurt, and you change everything out, but you don't change you get the guy to fill in for whoever's hurt. You don't move things around like that. Like you know what your anchor does, you know what your starter does, you know what your second guy does, you know what your third guy does. It's strategically placed because you know what you need and where. Like my runs were the 4x1 and the 4x2. I knew what my speed was. I'm giving you a 10 to 11 second 100, or I'm giving you a 22 to a 2200, and I know where I'm going to be at. Like this is just, it blows my mind.
Yeah, it was disgraceful. It was a disgusting performance. It made the great Carl Lewis go off like I've never seen Carl Lewis go off before. And the fact is, he said the whole system needs to be blown up. I mean, he said that. And not only that, and I agree with that too. And here's the thing: you better get your crap together because you're hosting these Olympics in Los Angeles, and I don't want to see another embarrassment like that again.
Jamaica's fallen off recently.
They have.
Oh,
They have.
Jamaica fell off.
Like,
man.
But our 4x4 team was great.
Yeah,
Our
yeah.
4x4
Now
team was
they
great.
did amazing. Now,
Oh, yeah.
talk about the women. Now, let me tell you something. The women's
And no, the
track was
4x4 men too got gold.
They did. Now, I will say this: the women were fantastic. I mean, all of them in their respective sports did great on the track and the field as well. I mean, they did very well. And honestly, Team USA, really, the female athletes brought it when it came to the more amount of gold brought in any country these Olympics, and were the majority of the makeup of the 40 golds that were brought. And I would probably venture to say, check those silver and bronzes too. So, U.S. men in all your respective sports, you better bring it when we defend and host in 4 years for LA 2028. That's all I'm saying. Talk about though that 4x400 by the women though. That was impressive. I
Oh
think they got a world
my
record while they
god.
did it. I mean, they did
Oh
it in
my god.
fashion. So
Oh
yeah.
my god. Like you had McLaughlin, you had Richardson,
Mhm.
you had Thomas.
The best of the best.
Oh my gosh. Like that 4x4 team, that 4x8. I mean 4x4 was just
They were savage. They were
they were
savage.
they took that. Like they won by such a wide margin too.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
it
what's
really
what got
was.
me. That it by the time it got to the third leg, it was a wrap.
Yep.
It was a wrap.
Even
You
the
could tell
distance
Christian.
runners did amazing this go around, because you never see our distance runners with those countries like Ethiopia or Kenya or any of
Kenya.
them. We were in the mix. I mean, sometimes we medaled,
Mhm.
sometimes we didn't. And I mean,
I think we
I
took
mean,
bronze. We took
yes, I,
bronze.
I mean, and the
Surprisingly.
15,000 meter, some ridiculous. I mean, it's something that you run in 30 minutes. It was incredible. Like, I mean, goodness gracious. But I mean, I was proud of the track. They brought it the second week, with the exception of that disgraceful performance by the 4x100 relay. But
Oh yeah.
realistically,
That's literally our race.
it's supposed to be. I mean, and it's been a disaster since 2004. It's been an
Yeah, it
embarrassment
hadn't been
every
in
time since
I,
every
then.
I,
time.
I remember the days of Justin Gatlin, Christian
Oh
Coleman.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Carl
Maurice
Lewis, I mean,
Green.
let's keep going. Michael Johnson, I mean, come on. So yeah,
yeah.
those great
It was a
I
time.
was
It was a
Johnson at
time when
200.
we dominated.
yeah, yeah.
Those
It was a time
Michael
when we
Johnson was
dominated.
I ran track. Like that dude, him and Maurice Green were the reasons I ran track. Like those dudes, like I mean, those were my idols growing up. Like I had their pictures hanging up in my room, and my goal, I remember freshman year, was like I want to beat Maurice Green's 100-meter record, and that was 996 back then. Now we're talking about freaking itch. I mean,
Well,
as a track guy, that was the most disgraceful run I've ever seen in my life.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
And
Well,
it hurts me to my core.
Well, and you know how I feel about the swimming with the men's and so forth like that. When if you go back to the past Olympic Games and you saw Ryan Lochte and you saw Michael Phelps, my question is this: when those guys did it, they were absolutely incredible, and I'm surprised that there hasn't been a generation of male swimmers that have come from that. Kind of like how Jamaica with Usain Bolt, like, I mean, not that
Mhm.
Jamaica doesn't have talent, but there was a time when it was them and only them during those
Only
Olympics,
them.
like
Yeah,
how we
I
own the
mean,
pool.
you weren't catching Jamaica's team. You were
No,
not catching them.
yes, and
And,
so that's
and
crazy.
as much as like, I mean, I'm a UT track guy. That's the school I got my first letter from. I mean, how many UT guys do we have ran track in the Olympics from UT? But still, like that is like those guys were given. They gave everything they had, and watch to what is now is it's bullshit. I'm just gonna say
It
it.
is. No, go
Bullshit.
for it. Go for it. So
We're after 11. I'm uncut. I'm unfiltered. That
that's
was
why I wanted your opinion. That's why I wanted your opinion. You being a track guy, because I was fired up about it. I was like, "How did this happen?" I mean, this was just disgraceful, honestly.
well, I mean,
Unfortunately,
the women dominated in their
they were
respective
amazing.
one. But man, you've got to step it up. I mean, it's not. This is the biggest stage in the world. You are considered the top 2 when it comes to Olympic sprinting. And you that shit up.
Can I also throw this out there? And Tupper, you can back me up on this with all due respect. And if I'm missing somebody, I think the U.S. men's basketball team was the only U.S. team that did something that was really relevant. I know that I think the men's polo team got bronze. Don't hold me to that. But I'm talking about the men in general were a very big disappointment at these Paris Games compared to the men of the other countries. I mean, there was the one kid from Florida that set the world record in that 1500 meter thing, which was cool to see. But other than that, Caleb Dressel, had an okay Olympics, but he was showing his age. Where is that next stud that's going to be there for U.S. men's, like it is for Katie Ledecky and then that Tori what was her name? Tori Holson or something. She won 2 gold.
Gretchen Walsh.
Gretchen Walsh, man, I'm telling you, they actually brought it. Where was these other dudes? I mean, like the Michael Phelps and the Ryan Lochte's we've been used to. I mean, they were no-shows. And don't even get me started on the men's diving. That was pathetic.
That was
So
pathetic.
I'm challenging the men that are in these sports. Defend your country, and you got 4 damn years to do it, and not to mention you got the world championships in 2 years to show who's the best of the best then, because you can kind of gauge who's going to be there and who isn't based on those competitions. Go ahead, Shane.
At this point, we already know that USA track has been plagued with doping allegations. At this point, I don't give a flying F. Do what you gotta do to win. I don't care anymore. That's just.
You can't do anything you got to do to win.
You got to do anything you got to do to win. Well, Russia got themselves banned or whatever, and they had they weren't even in competition with these Olympics. So I don't even know if they're even going to be allowed in 2028 at this point. So yeah. One last thing I wanted to cover, before we go. It's been a fun, great show, short and concise. And I also want to talk some more West football before I get to this. But WWE, one thing I want to bring up is, and we've laughed about the Dominic and the Liv Morgan and all that, but I was shocked to see another pay-per-view is going to be in Germany. Like, I mean, it's like, I get they're trying to market to the world, and I'd mentioned the World Wrestling Federation, and they're trying to get the F back in. But like, the truth of the matter is what about your people stateside? Where are those fans? I mean, you have done the majority of your pay-per-views in all other countries. I mean, even SummerSlam was technically, I believe, in Canada. Was that where it was at? So, I mean, I'm just saying, guys, it's like we've not had a pay-per-view in America since WrestleMania at this point.
So this mean, what's his name? I think Gunther.
Gunter, yeah.
Gunther.
Oh, yeah. This is to promote him. Yes, I guess so. Yeah. So,
Well,
and I get that. That's great.
I
get that. But he just became champion. Look at poor Rhea Ripley. To get to Australia, she had to be champion for how long? And realistically, got her moment in the sun. Thank goodness. And then her popping that shoulder in place. That was just great.
That was crazy.
That shoulder was dislocated. I've dislocated my shoulder. And like when she's yelling, it's out, and she took it upon herself to slam herself into the announce table to pop that thing back in, unless she's magically double jointed in everywhere, which that'd be a fun time. That's our story.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
Well, and I just wanted to mention that. Because I was just kind of miffed. Another pay-per-view, and they've really crammed a lot of pay-per-views in there. And I mean, there's a lot of exciting wrestling. It's just now they're going to be competing with football. And I'm sorry, as good as these superstars are, they aren't in the league of The Rock and the Austins and everything like that were there. That made you watch
the OTC is back. OTC is back.
Yeah.
But what I say is in the when there's no NBA, there's no NFL, and all you have is MLB. It has been exciting to watch the former Vols just out there raking it right now.
Yeah, no, they're showing
Yeah.
their talent.
They're
They
showing
really
their
are.
talent. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I wanted to finish up again with this scrimmage. Everybody show up on Thursday. I have an obligation. That I'm going to be out with my boy Mark
Come
celebrating his
meet the coach.
So
I'll be,
yeah,
I'll be,
find the coach.
I'll be in this gear. Y'all got, excuse me, I coach for Carnes. If I will be in this gear, come meet the coach. I will be there.
He's a rebel with a cause. Don't let that Carnes hat fool you, honestly. But honestly, Thursday night at Carnes High School, that's where they're hosting the Thursday
Yeah.
game, and
Yep.
Gibbs is hosting the
7
Friday
o'clock
game.
game. 7 o'clock game.
7 o'clock game. So West plays Grace, another competitive program in the smaller private school league. But realistically, when that ends, guys, it's Bearden week,
Yeah.
and I can't wait. I really cannot. Going to be
What?
live game day there.
I've watched Grace play in the past because my daughter dated a boy on Grace's football team. Bearden should mop the floor in however long they get to play, 1 quarter, whatever
Oh,
it
you
is.
mean West? You mean West?
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Natural habit. Yeah, Wes will mop the floor with Grace right then and there. It's not going to be pretty for Grace. They're going to make the quick little drive, the little 5-minute drive down the road over to the dam, whatever they call it over there, and West will dominate because I've never seen anything on Grace's football team that's like, oh, they go compete in the private school section. We're going to go through. We're going to run. We could run vanilla plays all day. It could literally be run plays the whole time, just little dives and sweeps, maybe a couple of short passes, and we'll still dominate that first quarter. And it will literally be all West the whole time. The defense will be shoddy for Grace. West's offense will dominate. West's defense will dominate. Come out, support the team, and let's prep for Bearden the next week. And that's I guarantee that's where all eyes are. They could go. They could literally walk out the JV team or the freshman team this week and still mop the floor with who their opponent is. I will say that right now because I've seen I've seen that team play before. They barely make it through some of these lower end private schools. It's going to be West the whole way through.
A couple of comments real quick from the WWE from our buddy Larry Frank. Screw Gunther, so that was great. And then Damian Priest should have thrown Dirty Dom from the top of the rafter.
I want some tendies from Liv. I want some tendies, please.
Hey, let me just tell you this. That was the funniest thing. These chicken tenders in video games. He sounded like a big little kid. She makes me chicken tendies and she makes me play video games. I mean, oh my God. And then he's talking about a grown man shouldn't call a woman mommy or what have you like that. Dude, this girl's like your new mommy, it seems like, but that's her daddy. So it's funny as anything. I've never
It
seen
is
it. And
funny.
thank God. And what about the pop Roman Reigns got on SmackDown, man? I mean, that just was just huge.
Oh, that was huge. That was huge. But you know what? They need and I'm glad he took the time off though.
He needed it.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you're going that hard.
Yeah.
I've seen nothing but this whole thing about Romans bring out an enforcer Friday. Who do you think it is?
Who's that one cousin that they've been wanting to debut for a while? Like, there's like so many of them. It's not even.
That family tree is so deep.
It is. It's somebody we haven't seen, but somebody that's known. I'm sure that's.
Yeah, I'm so curious. Like, we already know what the main event will be. It's going to be The Rock and Roman
at
WrestleMania. How does it get to that stage? That's what I'm curious now.
Stay tuned and grab your popcorn at this point. Honestly,
I mean, like a lot of the writing is kind of like you can tell what's leading up to. Where does The Rock come back in?
I know. It's almost like a Royal Rumble type of thing or Survivor Series. Survivor Series would make sense, especially if they're going to do that team bloodline rules, you know, with the classic Survivor Series.
Does it show up at War Games?
War Games, yeah, something like that.
Oh,
I mean,
War Games, Survivor Series. Like there was a time where War Games and Survivor Series were like neck and neck
they
on
were.
how they were for like the tag team competition of seeing who's better and who gets pinned and who's the last man standing. Like what team
Mm,
can win.
yeah, yeah. Shout out.
One other thing I want to add. How do we feel about the Pilot logo now on Shield Watkins Field at Neyland Stadium? Have y'all
Jimmy
seen that?
Jimmy Haslam's dream has come true. He is officially the guy of UT football.
I'm proud that we won't see like the Food City Center at Thompson Boyer or however
That's
you
trash.
pronounce it now.
That's trash.
Now, is the
But-
Food City Center at Thompson Bowling Arena?
Yeah, like that's hard for me to swallow. And now, like I've got like, I know why Pilot did it. Daddy Haslam is all about Gerald Nealon, which obviously Gerald Nealon is Gerald Nealon. He's the one who came up with the concept of $100,000 or 100,000 people stadium, the engineering, all that. But God, it's going to kill me to see that Pilot logo sitting there on the 20-yard line when we have so many greats that played at UT that deserve more recognition than a Haslam's own company.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. We got pilots all over the high school fields because of that donation of the artificial turf.
Yeah. Okay, let me speak on that real quick.
Sure.
As a guy who I've been around these fields since they started putting them in. I've coached from the turf days, the field days to the turf days. Pilot has not lived up to their end of taking care of these fields. You go to Maryville, you go to Alcoa, you go to Anderson County, you go to any other field that has turf that isn't owned by Pilot's donation, which the money that they gave for all that was to hide all the money they extorted from all the driver rebates and all that.
Wow.
But you take a upper look view of every stadium that has that Pilot logo on it and tell me that field is not worn down.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are supposed to, from what the contract said, is they are supposed to upkeep all these fields, and they haven't.
Mm-mm.
I've seen it on every field that has that Pilot logo on there. Those fields need new beads, whatever it is they put in the turf, they need it. Those fields are worn down. They've been using them for
9 years. 9 years now. 9 years were the first ones, and then West was the last batch.
That was Fulton and somebody else. They got the first fields because of a massive game that's going on. I want to say I can't remember if it was Fulton Alcoa or Fulton Maryville, but it was a massive game back then. And they got the first fields, and then you slowly worked over the next couple of years. They got all those fields.
Yeah.
Pilot, step it up. These fields look like garbage now.
Yeah.
I see more black than I see green. The fields are worn down. I mean, they need to be taken care of. Y'all got the money. Take care of these fields.
Yeah.
Or these local kids. I've watched injuries after injury happen because you are taking care of these.
Well, and then what's even worse is you're going to see them now with all this media coverage. If you've got this WVLT now showcasing games, you've got the Rivalry Thursday that was affiliated with Pilot for the longest time. If they're not right now, they're the ones that need to make that happen. Honestly, they need to.
It just bothers me so much. I mean, Pilot stepped away from UT for a while, and I thought Tennessee finally got away from the Haslam era.
Mm-hmm.
And now, $335 million later, for the next 20 years, yes, thank you for keeping the name what it is. You're still trying to. You're basically you're competing with what Kroger did with Kentucky and a couple other places. But come on, like I like the deal because of the money that the school gets. But man, if y'all going to do this, take care of what your original commitment was, and take care of the home area schools, and
Yep.
do what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, West isn't responsible for taking care of that field. Pilot donated money. Bearden, every school in Knox County, you told them you were going to take care of these fields, and I've yet to see it.
Yeah.
I coached a game at Alcoa on Saturday, and that field is immaculate, and it is a turf field. That field looks like it was just laid yesterday, and they rolled out the turf. It is perfect.
And I'm willing to bet Maryville's is the same way.
Yeah, Maryville's the exact same way. What is your excuse at this point?
Yep.
That's just me as a coach and somebody who's been involved around these programs for years and see what I see. But Pilot, if you're going to do this, take care of those fields also.
Yep, for sure. One more thing I want to shout out is yes, the West Jamboree Grace Thursday Carnes, but also more importantly, it is close to Bearden Week, and realistically, guys, definitely if you want to show up, that would be awesome to have you guys in the stands and so forth, the West students, and just having a good time, and just seeing what happens, and we'll be live there for between 11 and 12, and Saturday the 24th, and we'll be advertising it like crazy. So definitely spread the word, and we'd love to have you there. And we're going to do a live show breaking down this West Bearden game and making our predictions. And who knows, maybe some food might be on set. That would be cool as anything. So yeah, but I know Shane disappeared for a second. Two Pair, any final thoughts? It's been another great show. Like I said, small and concise, but next week we might have a guest, and I will advertise the heck out of it if it goes down. And we would be so grateful if we have his time, because I know it's very limited. So, but guys, just final thoughts as we wrap up another fabulous Rebels with a Cause.
Well, just looking at. Oh, my bad. Like, looking at all the scrimmages, and we're finally. We're at the point of season is here. Like, it's really, really here. And I just want to see the guys just get the best effort of what they've got right now. Like, go out there and give 110% and enjoy the moment, enjoy the journey. Just enjoy the journey, because it's going to be a fun ride, one way or the other.
Yeah. Shane, your thoughts, bud?
My final thoughts. This is going to go to our game day coverage. Do y'all know? Do we still do the student leader senior that dresses in the onesie that our Ryder and his brother used to wear, running around the flag? Yeah, if you show up at the game or at our pregame, I'll be extremely happy.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
I don't think they have that, but they still do run with the big West flag, the big W. They do run with that. So I still see that.
Ryder Wing to show up.
Could you imagine could Ryder still fit in the outfit? I mean, he was a really slender guy or whatever like that. That would be hilarious.
All I'm saying is somebody shows up with a big W on their chest and a red onesie, waving a flag. All will be right.
I hadn't talked to him in years.
Hey, listen, I want to see everybody throwing up them W's, man. I mean, that is what it is about, man. I want that W thrown up, because that stands for West, baby. Look, all these other teams, I see them taking pictures like it's a W, a win. West is what that W stands for, at least in this area, baby.
West is
yeah. We've been throwing that W up since 2002, man, honestly. I also want to throw this out there. The season's here. 617 days and counting as 5A champions, back to back. The records, the wins, everything speaks for itself. How we handle ourselves on and off the field. These boys are Rebels with a Cause. We got your back. Everybody, is there. Honestly, I mean, it's here. I'm so excited about it, and honestly, I'm going to be amped up next week. I mean, I just think that it's going to be a celebration every day, and I can't wait for our show next week, especially if the guest that we have is able to come on and be a part of it. It's going to be amazing. So, real quick, I do want to just give Larry Frank, Dirty Dom 2024 Dom for president. Why not? So,
Why not?
hey, he's doing something right. We need to learn from that mullet, honestly.
We
So,
do.
yeah,
That's the best
yeah.
mullet in the game right now.
Hey, and let me just
Best
tell you
mullet in
this.
the game.
Larry knows what he's talking about. Enjoy the season. It will be over before you know it. One snap, one drive, one quarter, one game at a time. I mean, it's
Hey,
the truth. So.
Yeah, it's all
have
true.
the adjustments have been made. Time to go dominate the third and fourth.
That's it. That's it. And now we're in the third quarter, right, Shane? We are officially
We are in
in
the third quarter.
So, yes.
We're in the third quarter till October.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. So, well, two pair, like you do every show, close us out, baby, and let's throw them dubs up, honestly. So, yeah.
Hey, man, love, peace, and chicken grease. This is Rebel with a cause. And the cause don't stop.
Until even after when that clock hits zero, baby. Don't forget it. So, we out.
There you go. We out.